Often, so you call a meeting of the traffic advisory committee at 5 o'clock. So roll call.
Chair Pacheco.
Here.
Police Chief Borges.
Here.
Paul Blaha.
Present.
Assistant Public Works Director Carolyn Burke. Present. And Economic Development and Community Planning Manager Andrew Meyer.
Here. Okay, everybody's here. Get a quorum. Group number 2, review agenda. There are any items that arose after the 72-hour posting deadline? This is the point in the meeting where welcome be taken to add any items. Does anybody want to add any items? Being none. Item 3, public comment. For the public, you have up to 3 minutes related to issues that are not, the keyword being not on the agenda. That's pretty much for the public record. Please state your name. So this is for things that are not on the agenda. Okay. Go approval of the minutes. Item 4. So is there any suggestions, motions, questions regarding approval of minutes from July 18th to 23rd?
I'll make a motion to approve.
There's nothing. All in favor? Good.
Can I just, who second his motion?
Okay. Item 5, consider the installation of green curb in front of 1276 Fremont Boulevard. And we have staff reports.
This is item 5A. My name is Patrick Grogan and I'm the Associate Engineer with the Public Works Engineering Department. The purpose of this item is to have the Traffic Advisory Committee consider the installation of a green curb in front of 1276 Fremont Boulevard. Next slide, please. Oh, did I mess up? I'm sorry, I did make a mistake. I must have copied over the presentation. I'll say it on next. Can you go forward a couple slides and just see if they're all for the wrong one? That's pro. Yeah, there we go. That was good.
Yeah, that's correct.
Yeah.
The other one's painted.
I might have. Oh, I had one wrong in my packet. Little collated mistake. Okay, so. Fremont Boulevard is classified as an arterial street with a posted speed limit of 30 miles per hour, 2 lanes of traffic in the northbound direction with parallel parking. Fremont is approximately 35 feet wide from face of curb to face of curb of the center median. Sidewalks measuring approximately 6 feet wide are present in front of this address. Businesses are located along the 1200 block of Fremont Boulevard. Staff conducted a site visit at 1276 Fremont Boulevard. During the site visit, it was noted that the business at 1276 Fremont Boulevard has no on-site parking. There is an alleyway behind the business of which the right-of-way extends all the way to the building's back wall. The building also fronts the street. The driveway has approximately 40, the building has approximately 40 feet of street frontage on Fremont Boulevard. There is a driveway from Fremont Boulevard to the alley immediately south of the business that offers no additional parking. To the north of 1276 Fremont Boulevard, there is another business and used car lot. Next slide, please. After Ms. Mendoza submitted this TAC application, Public Works staff found a different TAP application submitted by the previous business owner for 1276 Fremont Boulevard. The previously approved TAC request was for 2-hour parking in front of 1276 Fremont Boulevard and had not been paid for or installed when it was approved, after it was approved. The previous TAC request for 2-hour parking was approved by TAC on October 10th, 2020, and by City Council on November 5th, 2020. The applicant for the current request, Ms. Mendoza, paid for the installation of 2-hour parking signs in front of and to the north of her storefront on May 24th, 2022. The 2-hour parking signs have not sufficiently resolved her initial complaint, and she is now asking for her original request for 20-minute parking as designated with green curve to be evaluated. Next slide, please. Due to the area having high parking occupancy and long parking durations, staff recommend removing the previously installed 2-hour parking sign immediately in front of Anita's Market and installing 40 feet of green curve in front of Anita's Market to maintain adequate street parking for motorists. Thank you.
Do any of the, do you have any questions?
I think, and I'd love to hear at some point from the resident, but it's a great idea. I personally walked her, I met her before at the market, and a business like hers, you have to have a short duration. It's not a place you go for 2 hours and shop around with a small market. So I'm in favor of moving forward with this.
I do have a couple of questions.
Mhm.
So you said that someone else applied for the 2-hour parking, and then this applicant paid to install the 2-hour parking. Why?
The previous business owner or a previous business owner is the one who submitted the request for 2-hour parking.
Right.
They never then paid for it after it was approved. After Mrs. Mendoza submitted her application, Jasmine Dolan, who is no longer with the Public Works Department, had communications with Mrs. Mendoza, and they had found the previous 2-hour parking approved application, and they and Mrs. Mendoza decided to try to install the 2-hour parking instead of the green curve. She could probably offer more detail into that, but that's the amount that I've seen from different notice that were said.
May I ask a question of the applicant?
Mark, can we get everybody, having else any questions, then we'll do that. Is that what?
Then I have one more question for them. So, just to be clear, we're not going to lose any parking stalls by this conversion, right? We're just gonna convert 2 existing.
Yeah, 2 existing stalls will be converted from 2-hour parking to 20-minute parking.
Okay, thank you.
Anybody else have any questions? Saying none. Why don't we let the applicant, talk, and maybe she can answer the question, as, and that's, is that possible?
Things she said she wants to say some more than she had expressed previously. Working hours every day. For almost 2 years. And it's been very, very hard for her to be there for those almost 2 years.
Tengo una deuda con un arreglo de pagos porque hace un año por la situación.
He was PG&E for like about a year because of the problems of the parking.
Y que estoy muy agradecida
She is very thankful
por haber tomado a bien revisar la aplicación que yo sometí.
to take the application that she had submitted.
Y que si podría llegar a algo que tal vez podría ayudar también a la gente es
And she wants to add something in regards to the store. She has the short.
al lado de la pared donde está el edificio.
She said on the side of the wall where the building is.
Que hay dos carros que están estacionadas
There's
ahí
2
por
cars that are parked there
casi un mes o más de
for
un
like
mes.
over a month that they haven't been done.
En Suiza son los más caros que hay.
And then Seaside has the highest tax.
Existe la posibilidad de que se pudieran hacer como instructivos para la tienda. O
She was seeing if they could be like, they can like be como excluidos.
no si fuera a favor de la tienda.
That they can be in favor of the store.
Y eso no es posible, que la persona que se encarga de deducir de que los carros tengan la
And if that's not possible, for the person that, is checking the cars constantly for the parking,
ya, porque yo, que trabajo tantas horas, que pago
is
taxes,
actually working so many hours and pays a lot in taxes.
no tengo un extra.
She doesn't have a private, parking
Ni para mí, ni para los.
for her or for, other people that come and shop.
Pero ya, que de alguna manera es un trabajo que a mí no me corresponde, pero
This is not, doesn't, have to do with me, but
que ahora el driver está libre,
she wants the driveway to be free.
me costó el estar poniendo más a las
He
personas.
has to put notes on for, to the people, give notes to the people.
Que es muy duro. Puedes hacer eso cuando
Yeah, it's
una
very
persona
difficult.
corresponde.
For her to do.
Y una vez más agradecida con el señor Pacheco y cada uno de ellos
Very thankful for Councilmember Pacheco and everyone
para tomarse el tiempo
to take the time
de revisar la situación.
to check her situations.
Okay. Did she answer your question, sir?
No.
Let's try it again, just to be real clear, so that way
Yeah,
we all feel.
So when you paid to install the 2-hour parking,
Cuando usted pagó para pagar lo de las 2 horas de estacionamiento,
was that something you wanted to
eso
do?
es algo que.
Or were you told that you had
O
to do
alguien
that?
le dijo que usted lo tenía que hacer.
Alguien me recomendó que
She said someone recommended that she could do that. And,
Jasmine, did you invite her or someone invited?
Creo que
City staff?
Yes, Jasmine.
porque estaba en lo que es la Lighting Store para Herbalife, habían ya salido 2 horas. Entonces, allá ver ahí, entonces alguien me recomendó que si no ponía yo uno igual, porque no estaban a la mitad de la cuadra.
pero ¿quién le recomendó? Who recommended?
If it was city staff, but
Fue, nada más quiero saber si fue alguien que trabaja aquí para la ciudad.
Creo que de hecho en algún momento, creo que de hecho en algún momento a lo mejor Miguel, que trabaja para la ciudad, se me lo recomendó.
Ya, la próxima. Ya vamos a estar en la concentración. ¿Qué departamento
Se hace como traffic advice, something. Yeah.
He does no authority to give recommendations.
Sí, él no tiene ninguna autoridad de la.
Beautiful day.
yeah, those were all my
Pero
questions.
sí,
Okay, no, we'll find out.
I can make a comment.
Okay.
Okay,
Excuse me, she wants to know again, what was your question, that who recommended to?
that was the question.
Yeah, esa era la pregunta que quién había recomendado esto, sí, por sus horas.
The only thing that is bothering me about this is that she just paid to change it to 2-hour parking, and now we're looking to have her pay to change it again to 20-minute
Ahora
parking.
tiene que ser pagado
Um,
por 20 minutos.
I struggle with the notion that this is how we should treat our businesses. Is there a way that we can either make the old fee go away or wait for new fee or something to that effect, or can you?
That's what I'm thinking.
I'll make that motion. I'll also say this for the group, maybe for some feedback, I would consider making a motion to reimburse the original fee and then, waive the fee for the green curve for this particular situation.
So we're just making a recommendation, so if this is, if there's legalities that are issued, that would be caught before.
But my question would be, if it's a reimbursement, does it have to go for the council? Or if it was just a reimbursement because of miscommunication, language,
I don't know, that's good, but I think the recommendations still have to go to council.
the count, right, the recommendation, but not the, I'm wondering if the reimbursement.
I think we can give council a recommendation that. Personally, I think we should have a recommendation that if it is allowable for us to waive either the old one or the new one, that we should do that. I think that we've got pretty established city policies regarding the payment, and that's fine. It's just, we're charging her twice.
Yeah,
And that's what
all the
bothers
signs
me.
are up, so, right?
They are up.
They are, the 2 hours are up.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Part of the recommendation is removing the one directly in front of her street.
So why don't, just to cut the chase, why don't Andy or Chief make that recommendation as suggested? And then,
I'll do that.
if there's approval of that recommendation, then we'll move forward.
I will make a recommendation to reimburse the original fee that Ms. Mendoza paid and to waive the fee for the green curve 20 minutes. And additionally, I'd like to add that if it's approved, that the 20 minutes white paint is painted on the green curve as well. It helps clarify that for us.
And just, and so, I guess on the second, is there a second on that?
I'm a little uncomfortable with the precedent of eliminating fees entirely. Not that I don't think that that's a good, personally, if it were up to me, I think that we should waive the fees, but I think that is the program that we have. And the city is incurring costs, has incurred costs twice, so in a sense, the city's gonna lose some money. Would you be open, and maybe
Make a friendly amendment out of it?
yeah, make a friendly amendment to waive one of the fees?
And I'd be willing to, but just for point of discussion, I think the fact that she paid for, based on her own statement, for the original fee, based upon someone who had no authority to recommend her to pay, that's why I would recommend that that fee be reimbursed. And for the new fee, I think just with the experience of what is going on there, and a lot of this is like hers, 40 feet of green curve will actually increase revenue to the city because more people will be able to access her business, which will then return more tax revenue to the city. So I'd be willing to entertain that if it would move the group forward, but I think that's my point on the other topic.
Well, what does everybody else think?
Do we know what the original fee for the 2-hour signs was?
Something down there.
Well, it came still.
So 1,000.
It was close to 1,000. I don't remember the exact.
Pretty much a wash if we refunded one.
40 feet of green curb will cost $1,004.
Yeah, and so it would be offset pretty much by the installation of the 2-hour signs, or do we know how much?
I would have to ask her how much she remembers paying.
My comment, maybe this is my thought process, and I would agree with waiving the one set. I think I totally agree with you about the green curves or whatever, because you're impacting businesses, but I think that's a whole subject on its own for other businesses, so your concept in general is that we're doing something to prove businesses, and we're charging a fee on top of that. It's not a business friendly action. So I guess my question is, isn't that a separate concept or a separate issue altogether? Or do you want to set a precedent, as you mentioned, waiving both fees here? And does that open the door for other businesses down the road?
I've been watching the council meetings, and I know that this is a bit of a hot topic, and that's part of the reason I'm a little hesitant to completely throw out the payment of some fees.
Right.
But I also think that this is a bit of a special circumstance, and I wouldn't be opposed to not double charging her because she followed the recommendation of someone that, and I'm not trying to throw anybody under the bus.
Right.
But we're charging someone twice in rapid succession. It just doesn't sit right.
Right. So are you suggesting, are you guys agreeing that removing one fee and keeping the other fee, the $1,000 and just or are you getting rid of both of them?
I definitely am, and I think you said it was $800.
It was just close to 900,
Okay.
the fees back there then were just over 400 per.
That was the two
box.
sides.
Yeah.
And then the painting of the green curve is how much?
The fees now are 500.
It's $502 per 20 feet.
Okay, so
So
about
times 2,400.
So I would be willing to amend the motion to just waive the green curve fee and not worry about any reimbursement. That way she has no action to take.
Now, I'll second that motion.
So just to clarify, you are recommending,
To waive the fee, the green curve, and not do anything with the original 2-hour parking. That way she doesn't have to pay anything out of pocket.
and I concur with you, my only question is, do you feel, if it gets pulled from the agenda, let's assume that it's on the consent agenda. Do you feel comfortable explaining the unusual circumstances to that? I think that's, because if it's not sold right, that's not the right word, but if it's not conveyed right, then there'll be a challenge. So you have to feel comfortable in saying this is not the usual action, but
Yeah.
it's different
I don't have a problem with
circumstances.
that.
Okay, as long as you're comfortable with that.
And I'm sorry, the other thing that Anna wanted to express too is that when she, submitted her application, no one told her that there was already an application, so there was already like a communication, following that the lady did. And she wasn't aware that there wasn't already an application.
Yeah, that's the reason I'm being very confused because they never checked my application. When Ms. Daphne told me, she said the application is already approved. The only thing you need is pay for that. To sign. That's that reason. This happened.
Okay.
Because from the first time, the application tell everything.
Bottom line, there was miscommunication, whatever there was, and that's over with. There's a motion on the second on the floor. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. This is really important, what I'm gonna tell you now, because someone just lost an opportunity. It's really important. Very, very, very important. That you show up to the council meeting,
Yes, you said
and just in case there's questions, that you share your opinion. If there's no question, you don't have to share anything. But it's extremely important that this committee has recommended your suggested and done something on top of what they don't do. But it's very important that you dare to share your opinion or your concern, fight for what you believe is right. And staff will tell you when that meeting is. And I will probably personally try to stop by and when I know about it, to let you know as well, so that way. Because there was there was an incident, anyway, please show up, that's the bottom line here.
Just clarification, just to make sure on the record that the recommendation that you approve the recommendation plus waiving off the current agreement.
Yes.
Okay.
And as long as you're feeling comfortable in sharing that
Yep.
philosophy, that's the really important part. This is kind of it's sort of kind of a precedent kind of a thing, or a different, an unusual circumstance, however you want to phrase it.
And again, just to follow, I hope that they put the 20-minute thing on that was super clear for residents, because otherwise they'll just ignore the green, they'll park there for 2 hours. And great work.
Yeah, and lastly, it's really, really important, someone told me, but you didn't, that if the city council approves it, you need, if it's totally waived, we're good, then that's the bottom line, then the staff would just do it, right? Then, okay, good, but never mind, so I was gonna say, then they pay you for it to get the time, okay, that's good. So we're good, I think, you think, so come to the council meeting. Okay, so you're done, you did good, thank you so much. Good.
Thank you.
But come to the council meeting, it won't count until the council approves it.
She wants to say that she was very thankful. Because she's been knocking on my doors. And finally. She said that her listening, that someone's listening. And she doesn't.
Yes, and we are supposed to have, I think, the system like that, and whatever.
Thank you for helping us.
You're welcome, it's important, and Mr. Andy was there at that meeting when we started this, probably in June or July, and I think it's finally come around to a good point, I hope.
And I'm sorry, I have a question. Leslie has a question. If she wanted to express something, is this the time or do we wait for later on? Or is there another meeting when it comes to?
It was regarding the issue that we asked about. My mom is a business owner and she got a letter about this meeting, so I wasn't sure when it was appropriate to.
What you guys.
About the impact. Oh, okay, so I'll go ahead. So as much as, I mean, my mom and I understand, because my mom has also been a small business owner at a location in 1270 Fremont for 20 years. She has also has to struggle with the parking because there's no parking behind the buildings for any sort of businesses to put any sort of parking for their own businesses. And then when the 2-hour parking started, it made it really difficult for her as a beauty salon owner to take on clients during specific busy times that took more than 2 hours. Or if it took more than 2 hours, she'd have to ask for clients to get up, move their cars, and it was affecting her ability to get clients and retain clients, especially when she had to give them that notice when they were trying to make some sort of appointment. And so as much as we understand the difficulty that she's dealing with the parking, there are other businesses that also have to deal with this as well. So if the 30-minute get approved, basically, like that even limits it even more. And it makes it even more difficult for my mom to be able to take on clients that are willing to pay more money for the longer jobs if there's already a 2-hour limit. So she wasn't sure if there was some sort of like pass that she could be given as a salon owner that can allow her clients to park for more than 2 hours. Because if not, it really affects her business hours and affects her ability to actually like take on those types of clients. She already knows of a small business that was already having problems with these 2 hours. Her clients were just getting a lot of tickets, and she's already suffering like being able to pay all of her utilities, being able to pay all of her rent, because like he also takes on clients. There's another beauty salon a couple of stores down that also has been struggling to keep on these clients. So I mean, I don't know if there's some way to like remedy it and say like, maybe see it, like keep going and see what happens with the 2-hour parking, because again, her clients already have to, park across the street, cross, and jaywalk really, because, there's no easy way to just get directly to those businesses. And like with the residential behind them, there's already people who take up those spots that used to be for business owners to park behind their businesses. And now those business owners park in the 2-hour parking spot and then take up those spots for actual customers and clients. So
My thought off the top of my head is, this is just a recommendation. It goes to the city council. If you're opposed to her request or this body's recommendation, come to the council meeting. Just pull the item from the agenda or hit my shoulder before the meeting, and I'll pull it, because I know if there's an opposition. So if you're opposed to the recommendation, come to the council meeting. The council will hear your thoughts or her thoughts and make the best situation, make the best decision. But I think it's only focusing on not increasing parking development. They're not in America, but it's a matter of, is 30 minutes parking for that area right or wrong, or good or bad? So this is just a recommending body. The council will say bad, good, or otherwise. Does that make sense? Is that fair comment?
And you
or
can
no?
also talk with engineering staff over here about maybe there's a possibility of getting 3-hour parking designated, I don't know. But these would be the people to ask about that.
And I think we do have to look at something behind, because I know what she's talking about, and we have people in the parking complex that are overflowing their parking every time, which we've taken it in one. I don't park, but it's different.
Yeah, when I was out there, The alley was half blocked because there's just people parked there. And
You didn't feel all that safe either, I don't think.
Yeah, it's an interesting location out there.
Okay, so please show up for the council meeting. It's really important if you're opposed to the same thing. I told you should show up. She's in favor. So both ends are really important. Okay. Thank you. And if there's some way you guys can work together in between, I don't know how, but that would be a good thing too. Okay. Thank you both. Thank you for being here. Sorry for not getting you to speak earlier. I thought you guys were all on the same page here. Okay,
She wants to know if she can say something else, if there's something else she can say.
I think I would save it for the council meeting, because you got the recommendations in your favor. And I just don't know if it's we can't do anything but do what we did. And then it's up to the council to, if it gets pulled, to change the mind of the recommendations. But keep on beating the horse, it's not gonna help the horse move faster.
And this would be for the next council meeting, right, for Thursday?
I'll let her know
You'll let her know?
what council meeting is gonna be heard at. Also let her know that she can continue to ask me any questions.
Then
she
we're
might
going
have.
to be there for the-
Okay, and I'm sorry for letting you not speak, but I just think it's not gonna move anything forward. Thank you. Thank you for being here.
Oh, actually.
Uh, 5B, consider the removal of the yellow curb on Phoenix Avenue near Fremont Boulevard.
Thank you. This is item 5B. The purpose of this item is to have the traffic advisory committee consider the request to remove 40 feet of yellow curb on the north side of Phoenix Avenue at Fremont Boulevard. Next slide, please. Thank you. The owner of the business located at 1112 Phoenix Avenue has submitted a traffic advisory committee request application to remove 40 feet of yellow curb on Phoenix Avenue. The application was dated June 26, 2023. The yellow curb section is located on the north side of Phoenix Avenue, approximately 9 feet from the corner of Fremont Boulevard. This section of yellow curb was approved by TAC and the City Council in 1998. The staff report for this item could not be located. First Eastside Municipal Code 1032-240 curb markings to indicate no stopping and parking regulations. Yellow shall mean no stopping, standing, or parking at any time between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. any day for any purpose other than the loading or unloading of passengers or freight, which shall not exceed 10 minutes. Next slide, please. Existing conditions. Phoenix Avenue is a collector street approximately 36 feet wide with parallel parking on both sides of the street and a speed limit of 30 miles per hour. The street is populated with businesses, single-family homes, and apartment complexes. Sidewalks are present on both sides of the street and are 4 feet wide. An additional yellow curb is located approximately 200 feet east and also on the north side of Phoenix Avenue. This yellow curb was requested by the property owner of University Plaza in 2019 and was approved by TAC and City Council and paid for by that applicant. Staff performed a site visit and noted that parking on the street was limited. Public Works maintenance staff have already grayed out the requested section of yellow curb due to a miscommunication with parking enforcement staff. If the request to remove the yellow curb is denied by City Council, Public Works maintenance will paint the curb yellow. To date, Public Works have not received any complaints about the removal of this section of yellow curb. As this section of yellow curb was previously approved in 1998, staff would like to continue with the TAC recommendation and City Council decision to officially remove the yellow curb and the council decision. Next slide, please. Staff recommends removing the section of yellow curb on Phoenix Avenue near Fremont Boulevard to increase parking availability for residents and employees. Thank you.
Just got one question, because I don't want to go. You said that the curb is no longer yellow,
Correct, it has already been grayed out.
so it's already grayed out. I'm just kind of a simple kind of guy. If it's already, and so that solves, that agrees with the recommendation, right? Just as a simple thought, could it? Since the problem's solved, does it need to go to the city council?
The curb was approved by city council. It is an official yellow curb, so we should follow the process to remove it. It was painted gray due to miscommunication.
Okay, that's just kind of, that's a red tape, I guess. Okay. You want to speak, sir? Or does anybody else have any questions? I'm sorry. No other questions? You want to speak?
Yeah, I always thought the yellow was a fake yellow all these years. I've been here 20 years. We've been parking there from day one. The yellow was almost gone. And then about a month ago, they came out and re-yellowed it. But from my memory, in 2004 or 5, there's a little fish market that was there. And on a Saturday morning, they were out there painting it yellow, the two guys were. And so I walked over and go, what are you guys doing? They go, well, we need a place to park. So and that's what I told you. So I always thought, yeah, I remember in my mind, these guys painted it yellow. So no one ever respected it. There's nowhere to unload any equipment for any business there. So we've always been using it, and it was almost all the way gone, and then they repainted it, and then I went to the city, and I went to the building department here. And next thing I know, due to miscommunication, I figured, okay, they researched it, and they went out and painted it gray on it. So here we are.
Okay, great, thanks.
Yeah, so I don't know what
Is there any other questions? If not, does anybody want to make a motion?
I'll make a motion to remove the yellow Phoenix.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I will tell you the same thing I told this young lady.
Yep.
It's really important if you're, just in case, because it seems like a lot of common sense thing, I would
Yeah.
have the representatives show up just because it's a wise thing to do.
All right, I mean,
And it's wise, it
Yeah.
seems logical, but
just
logic,
be there.
I would just, and if I would just move right along, but I would just be safe,
All right, fair enough.
okay?
Are we good? All right, thank you all. for
Thank you,
that.
sir.
I'll email you with the council date when it's set.
All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Any staff communication?
We do. We have a red curve evaluation update. So that has been, I'm sorry.
No, you're right, I didn't see the connection, that's my fault.
Staff has been compiling an internal list of abandoned NSP bus stops and other colored curb locations that were brought up by TAC members. Currently, we're comparing the list against our previously approved bus stop locations. We found that most of the bus stop locations were approved by TAC at some point in the last however many years. We have records back to 96. And going back, they're a little spotty, but we're currently in the process of matching up abandoned bus stops with the previously approved locations on our internal tracking document. Because all of the bus stops went through TAC and then city council, staff is going to be bringing TAC items forward in the upcoming meetings to recommend removal of those bus stop locations by painting the curbs gray. We plan to bring them forward in batches. There are 59 stop locations on the list right now, plus a few other colored curb locations, so we don't have the time to do that all in go. We'll bring them forward in reasonably sized batches for attached recommendation and then bring them on the city council for official removal. Yeah, that's that update.
My only question would be for the long, whatever, discussion there, and thank you for doing what you've done. is there any chance that you could bring, I don't care if it's 2 or 4 or 6 person to the next TAC meeting in person? Yeah.
Yeah, so, I've marked the one on Yosemite by the church. There's one on,
So maybe.
yeah, LaSalle, that one, and there's another one that I've already evaluated. And then I was also gonna look at, I had a question for you for the exact green curve location that you had questions about
Yes,
on Broadway. If you remember
Yes.
which block that's in exactly,
1,000 block.
the 1,000 bucks. So there's 4 green curves in that location.
Yeah.
Are you talking about the one with the 2-hour parking signs in front of Lily's Seaside Boutique? It's about 100 feet long
I think so, yeah,
and it's got green curve and 2-hour parking signs.
yeah, I think so.
Can you add the Oldemire Center to that?
That's also.
Okay. Just some, we could say we started this process.
I made a note at the last committee meeting of all the locations that you guys brought up, and those are the ones that's first on the list, and then I'll just work my way down to the list. of other-
So there's a chance that we can get this on the September.
Yeah.
Agenda.
Well, it'll go to tax.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. Okay. Anything else?
No, that's it.
Okay. So at 5:40. Like to adjourn the meeting.